Hello viewers, welcome to our new weekend show, Homework. This is your host Aman Sharma, and this show is all about decoding and deep dive into politics, elections, policy and much more. We will break down the biggest story of the week for you, the viewer, without the jargon or the complexity. We will also get a newsmaker or a domain expert to weigh in on the issue. And we will also get the best Network 18 reporter voices for feedback from the ground. So let's get started. We are in the middle of a very intense and a crucial state election, Bihar. One phase of the election is done and the second and the final phase is coming up next week before the results on November the 14th. Bihar has already created history in phase 1 with the highest turnout in its history at 64.66%. But why should Bihar politics interest you? If you are our viewer in South India or the western part of India, you may wonder why so much media focus on an election in Bihar is there. Let me explain to you why Bihar is so important. Well, it is the laboratory of arguably the most complex caste politics in the country. The state's politics is virtually an alphabet soup. JDU, RJD, LJP, HAM, VIP, Left, AIMIM, JSP, RLM, JAP. The voters are astute and politically aware and never short of an opinion on politics in Bihar. In this state, never does one party win an election. It is always an alliance and the one that gets its caste math right. It is also a state where parties flip sides faster than you can imagine. Nitish Kumar was with the NDA till 2014. He then flipped towards the RJD, came back to the NDA, then flipped back to the RJD and then again came back to the NDA. Still, he has been the chief minister for most of the last 20 years. Let me introduce you to another fantastic statistic. The biggest party here has just a 23 to 24% vote share. This is unlike any other state where the winning party has a healthy 30% or much above vote share. And surprise, surprise, the party with the biggest vote share in Bihar may not end up on the winning side. Look at this graphic. BJP was the biggest party by vote share in 2015 elections in Bihar at 24.42%. But guess what? BJP lost the election. The winners were the RJD and the JDU, who were in an alliance with lesser vote shares, about 18% and 17% respectively. Come to 2020, when Nitish and BJP were back together. RJD this time was the biggest party by vote share at 23.11%. But RJD lost the election while the winners were BJP and the JDU with 19.46% and 15.39% vote share respectively. So going back to the thumb rule for Bihar, it is not one party but the alliance that wins an election here. Now let's come to the 2025 election. The alliances are cleanly stacked. BJP, JDU, LJP of Chirag Paswan, HAM and the RLM on one side, and RJD, Congress, Left and VIP on the other. Both are potent caste alliances, but what matters here is the strike rate. In the 2020 election, it was the BJP that had the best strike rate, almost 67%, as it won 74 out of the 110 seats it contested. Second was the RJD on the opposite side, which won 52% of the seats it contested, 75 out of 144. But both alliances had laggards. The JDU of Nitish Kumar could win just 43 out of the 115 seats it fought the last time, a poor strike rate of 37%. And Congress fared the worst in the opposition camp, winning just 19 out of the 70 seats and the poorest strike rate of just 27%. But Nitish Kumar still became the chief minister while having much lesser seats than the ally, the BJP. Some say Nitish Kumar suffered because Chirag Paswan and Upendra Kushwaha had hurt his party while contesting against the JDU candidates. And many feel the Congress dragged the RJD down despite a spirited campaign by Tejashwi Yadav. So what is different this time? And which alliance has the edge? First, the alliances have shuffled. Chirag Paswan and Upendra Kushwaha are now with the NDA, so they will not hurt Nitish Kumar anymore. This, the BJP feels, could make the strike rate of JDU improve from 2020. Nitish Kumar's performance in this election is the most critical. Let us look at some other key numbers. For the first time ever, BJP and JDU this time are contesting the same number of seats, 101 each. Otherwise, JDU always played the senior partner in Bihar. BJP is contesting 9 seats lesser than the last time despite having the best strike rate in 2020. JDU is contesting 14 seats lesser as well. This is because the new entrant, the LJP of Chirag Paswan, has managed to corner 29 seats in the NDA alliance. Chirag scored a perfect 5 out of 5 seats in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections in Bihar for the NDA and is aiming for a repeat. I reiterate, JDU's improving its strike rate is critical for the NDA in this election. Nevertheless, the BJP has declared Nitish Kumar as the Chief Minister's face. On the other side, the RJD is contesting still on the lion number of seats at 143, but Congress has been forced to eat the humble pie by contesting 9 less seats than in 2020, mainly because of its poor performance then. VIP party has secured a deputy CM promise for its Mukesh Sahani, while Congress has backed Tejashwi as the CM face. Let's get to the business end now. What are the real issues on the ground and what is working for whom? These 5 things are working for the NDA. Number 1, the women voter support. First came the big gift of prohibition by Nitish Kumar for the woman voter in Bihar many years back. And this time, he has given rupees 10,000 in the bank accounts of 1.3 crore women. It has deflated the rupees 2,500 per month promise for women by Tejashwi Yadav. So much so that Yadav has been forced to say that he will transfer rupees 30,000 in one go as 12 installments of rupees 2,500 each to women across the state coming this January. But we all know the first mover advantage works in such money doles. And women in Bihar have already brought livestock like goats and calves and sewing machines from the money they have got from Nitish Kumar's party. Number 2, which is working for the NDA, the old age pension is up from rupees 400 to rupees 1100. Senior citizens, 1.2 crore such people in Bihar, are happy. Number 3, what is working for the NDA, the free 125 units of power for all domestic consumers. A big sop that is transforming the state, and people credit Nitish Kumar for it. Number 4, what is working for NDA? Nitish Kumar, even at 74 and with the mental acumen not the same as 2005 apparently, is seen as a dependable and a wise leader by the people. People do not want to retire Nitish Kumar with a defeat. Number 5, what is working for the NDA? Prime Minister Narendra Modi's campaign against the jungle Raj of RJD has captured the pulse of the electorate. Modi is reminding people of the katta and the rangdari culture of RJD. This strikes a chord. But mind you, this could be a close election as well, as things are working for the Mahagathbandhan too. Number 1 and foremost, Tejashwi Yadav is a popular face among young voters. Then his promise of a government job in every family has been a big hit, though it seems unfeasible to some. There is no denying of tiredness among the young voters with Nitish Kumar's face and lack of jobs due to no industry coming to Bihar for the last 2 decades. This is a major issue. A clear projection of Tejashwi as the Chief Minister face has also helped the Mahagathbandhan. Let me take this discussion forward with our 2 reporters of Network 18 who have travelled the length and breadth of the state for many days, Arunima and Sapna Shukla. 25 से 30 फिर नीतीश या इस बार तेजस्वी सरकार. So Arunima, you've travelled so much in Bihar and you spent much of the last fortnight there. What is your prediction? It's a hazard, but what is your prediction? Which way do you see this election going?
I didn't see any anti-incumbency against Nitish Kumar. That's one thing I can tell you. Usually after 20 years, there will be an anger against the system. There will be anger against the leader of the day. People would speak out that, you know, ये सड़क नहीं बनी, ये नाला नहीं बना, ये नौकरी नहीं मिली, ये सब बोल रहे हैं. They're saying all of this, but at the end of it, if you ask them, that is Nitish Kumar to blame, is Nitish Kumar's personal image at stake, I do not think there's any doubt that nobody there is speaking ill of Nitish Kumar. This even at a time when Tejashwi Yadav has mounted a campaign against Nitish for his health, repeatedly saying that he's being remote controlled. So when I ask these questions to Nitish supporters, they're obviously saying kaam to kar rahe hai na. He might be growing old. It might be true that with age, there are some ailments that creep in. But does that mean the work is suffering? No, infrastructure development wise, the fact that, and that's the biggest plus point. 10,000 chunav. This is 10,000 chunav, but 10,000 rupees has reached the account. And I asked women that how is this different from Ladli Behna or Ladki Bahini? Because there also direct cash transfer happens. Here you'll have to prove that you're doing some entrepreneurial initiative. They said, ye behtar hai. This is women. And the reaction of the men is even funnier. They said Nitish has empowered women to the extent that they're no longer listening to us. खुद अपने घर चली जाती है, अपने मायके चले जाती है, हमसे सुनती नहीं है. There was an auto wala in Ali Nagar, pitch dark, he's ferrying three women. I'm speaking to the women about 10,000 and he turns around and says, बोलिए ना, बोलिए अब आपको हमारी ज़रूरत कहाँ है? You don't need us anymore because you pay for your own stuff. Even for basic hygiene needs, they had to depend on the men folks. Now they don't. To pay the school fees or the tuition fees of their children, they are independent now. A lot of them have set up their own small, koi shringar ka dukaan, koi chowmin ka dukaan. So additional income is being generated. Small startups. And men are happy that additional income is coming in. But they're not too happy that with this additional income, they're asserting themselves. So all of these are stories which makes me think that there is no anti-incumbency against Nitish. Everyone is acknowledging the good work that has happened. Of course, there are a lot of others who say dil mange more. But abhi tak acha kaam hua hai, this everyone is acknowledging.
Well, I think that speaks a lot, for a chief minister who's been there in the chair for most of the last 20 years. No anti-incumbency still, despite, as I was earlier saying, his mental acumen maybe being not the same level as 2005 when he first became the chief minister. But Sapna, when I saw you also spoke to many women when you were there reporting for us. Do you also see this rupees 10,000 scheme as a big game changer in this election?
Yes, it is a big game changer in this election. What Arunima says is that, see, someone is promising me that they will give me some amount after the election if they will form the government, and someone has given me the amount that has the impact on the women voters. And I have talked to the women. They were saying ki humne ye dukaan kar liya hai, we have done this, and see, for them the basic thing is that they are getting 10,000 money, and with that 10,000 money they are getting that security also. They are feeling more secure in this government. That's why I think they are going towards the India government. They have that fear. They have seen that jungle raj. They have seen that tenure of Lalu Prasad Yadav. That's why they are not connected to Tejashwi Yadav. When they think about Tejashwi Yadav, they say, some of the women said to me, कुछ young women ही थी, उन्होंने मुझे बोला, they said to me कि see, Tejashwi Yadav is ultimately the son of Lalu Prasad Yadav. We have seen that 17-month government, but we cannot believe on him blindly that when he will come in the government, he will going to do something very good for us. They are not promising for the security. The main thing is this, they are not promising us for the security. You have seen Tejashwi Yadav, he is saying Shabuddin Amar Rahe. That's the basic thing they are saying again and again. How can you say that when you will come to the government and you will say, we are feeling secure, we will make you secure. So these two things, 10,000 amount for the women's they are getting. Secondly, they are feeling more secure in this government. I think these are the basic things.
But Sapna, tell me one thing that, when I travel to Bihar, and we all, I think I've seen the same, that there's a big issue of jobs in Bihar, the unemployment in Bihar. And Tejashwi Yadav has promised a government job to every family. Maybe it's not feasible, but don't you think the youngsters in Bihar, maybe it look like, he's promising 2 crore jobs, maybe he'll give 50 lakh, but something will come. So you think the jobs is an issue by which Tejashwi Yadav is getting some resonance on the ground?
See, yes, he's getting connected to the young voters through this job promise, but there is PK also in the ground. What I have found, some of the youngsters I think Arunima will give this reaction on this. I have found some of the youngsters were saying this, ki kahan se laoge itni naukri? First thing they were saying. Second, 14 lakh new voters who are getting added to this voting list. They are saying, they were like कि कहाँ से लाओगे? दूसरा, और वो पीके की तरफ ज़्यादा झुकाव दे रहे थे. अगर वो देखते हैं कि अगर हमें सुशासन ही चाहिए, we have seen the tenure of Tejashwi Yadav, we have seen the tenure of Lalu Prasad Yadav. They are not saying that this is practically correct that you will give some of the jobs.
So my experience was more region-wise. North Bihar, resonance for Jan Suraj and PK is much more. These are areas which are minority dominated, Araria, Katihar, Darbhanga upwards. The resonance in Jan Suraj's road show is much more. People want to go listen to him. young voters I spoke to are even acknowledging that the issues Prashant Kishore is raising make sense to them.
Yes.
But are they going to vote? Not many came up to me and said that they are. So there is a difference. So Prashant Kishore might have promised, if he is a lambi race ka ghoda, if he's going to run this marathon, perhaps next election or the election after that, there could be a triangular contest. But for now, it is bipolar. That's what it seems to me. In South Bihar, issue of employment. I have said this on multiple occasions. Kalyan Bihar, Nitish Kumar's home turf. Youngsters there are also saying that you will have to do something about employment. This is a big issue. Yes, NDA has raised questions as to where Tejashwi Yadav will get the jobs from, but NDA has been forced to promise jobs in their own manifesto. The difference is Tejashwi is promising sarkari naukri, something which has a huge pull. 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old girls I saw in the interiors of North Bihar running. थोड़ी सी बारिश रुकी and they started running. So I stopped my car and I asked them क्या हो रहा है. They said बिहार पुलिस कांस्टेबल की भर्ती के लिए रिजल्ट आया है और इस बार पेपर लीक नहीं हुआ है तो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं. I said but Amit Shah is promising that in this area factories will open up. Bata for example is a huge factory in Mokama area. That factory has been shut down. So I said private sector की नौकरियां आएंगी but they are all very clear. दबदबा और रुतबा तो सरकारी नौकरी से ही आता है ना. And you must have heard this little boy say रंगदार बनना है तो रंगदार बनना है, रुतबा चाहिए, सरकारी नौकरी चाहिए. These are common threads and they agree with Tejashwi Yadav that नौकरी तो बड़ी बात है. And I think even NDA leadership acknowledges that. But is that enough to transform the voter which has been anti-Lalu, anti-Tejashwi from that position? I doubt, because they can't forget Jungle Raj. That section of the voter can't forget Jungle Raj.
And speaking of Prashant Kishore, since we touched upon that topic, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has given an interview to CNN News 18 where he has said that Prashant Kishore will not win even a single seat in Bihar. He's completely overrated, and it takes me back to what Chirag Paswan in the last election. And I remember interviewing Chirag Paswan, and Chirag Paswan told me that I was also spoken like an X factor in the last Bihar election. But you know what happened. So in a Bihar also, it's a unique state where you can only win if you're part of an alliance.
Yes.
Outside an alliance, it's very difficult to win in Bihar. But do you think Prashant Kishore can damage?
Can I just interject one second? In Bihar, you can win if the voter thinks you can be a number 1 or a number 2 player. There's no scope for a number 3 player there.
They don't waste their votes.
अगर आप सरकार नहीं बना रहे हो तो क्यों ना vote waste करें? So I think that is working against
They're
Prashant.
very smart enough. They don't waste their votes. They know that who's going to form the government, who's going to give their promises. For PK, I can say that he will not going to win the seats, but he will have a good vote share. Well,
I mean, I don't know if he has a good vote share, who will he damage?
I think
I am not sure. I am not sure who is going to damage.
And I think one thing we have all may have consensus on, that Sapna, you can win in. Is SIR an issue? I don't think it's an issue on the ground.
No, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. We and some of the reporters, Pallavi ji was there, some of other reporters, you were also, I think, there. We were talking about this only when Rahul Gandhi will come to Bihar, and again, if he will start saying SIR, no, SIR is not an issue in Bihar. Not a single voter was there who said ki vote chori ho rahi hai, that thing like this. They have not talked about like
Can I tell you why SIR is an issue? SIR is not an issue in deciding ki vote kisko karna hai. SIR is an issue in ensuring that Biharis vote. Entire Delhi, migrant population, be it house helps,
will it affect?
Be it no. How it will help, I'll tell you. House helps, drivers, sabzi walas, they've gone back. I met there in people in Patna, there were no drivers available on the day of the voting. They all wanted to go back to Vaishali, Navada, wherever they have come from, to ensure that their vote is cast. So the voting percentage that has gone up, I think SIR has a huge role to play in it, because finally the Bihari voter realizes the value of his or her vote. Ki vote kyun dena hai? So in that sense, SIR matters.
I'll remember an anecdote from my field, and that reiterates why the Bihari voter is so much particular about his vote, and why I feel that if SIR had actually cut out votes of genuine voters, Biharis won't have sat quiet. In Bihar, if you go to villages and ask them about, who do you think is better, Nitish Kumar or Tejashwi Yadav, they turn around and one villager told me, कि आप बताइए Donald Trump क्या कर रहा है? ऐसा छोड़िए. So Bihari voter is so, everybody in Bihar, you go to villages will be reading a newspaper, and more abreast than us about the Bihar's politics, and I think that is something fascinating.
You mentioned newspaper. Yesterday, on the day of the voting, outside a booth in Bakhtiarpur, I was doing a general chaupal, kaun acha hai, kaun bura hai. What does this woman say? ये जो हाथ में पूरा टाइम मोबाइल देख के रील देखते रहते हो, ये किसको किससे मिला है? शी फेल्ट कि वो हेलीकॉप्टर और तीर की वजह से मिला है. शी वाज एन एनडीए सपोर्टर, बट इवन अ वुमन who we think, a बिहारी वुमन, a हाउसवाइफ, a विलेज वुमन, शी नोज कि रील पे क्या देखना है और रील से क्या निष्कर्ष निकालना है, एंड हाउ टू ट्रांसलेट दैट इनटू अ पॉलिटिकल आर्गुमेंट.
I have a question for you because I got some of the voters. आपको मिले क्या जेकरा सब दे योकरा हम दे? They were the silent voters.
नहीं.
Or they have some of the issues. If you will talk about them, then you will get
in
choices.
fact, I asked them that, you know, women. I asked them कि आपके पति तय करेंगे, आपके पिता तय करेंगे, कौन तय करेगा?
ये कौन बताएगा?
तो मैंने आपको बताया ना, ऑटो ड्राइवर ने क्या कहा कि नीतीश ने इनको इतना एम्पावर कर दिया है कि मायके जाने से पहले तो पूछती नहीं है, वोट लेने से पहले क्या पूछेंगी? And there was another very sharp incident that I saw there, that the women voter there, because of the money power that they have in hand, even the Muslims, Bihari Muslims, are not very sure whether the Muslim Bihari voter is doing exactly what has been decided by the community at large. That 10,000 rupees could have played a role as far as the Muslim women is concerned.
Well, that is the consensus from here from our 3 Network 18 reporters who have travelled to the ground, that 25 se 23 फिर से Nitish looks like a very much a possibility come November the 14th. So now I am joined by Mr. Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist, election analyst, and someone who has studied Bihar, I think, election for the last 3 months. He's been sending me every week reports on what his analysis from the ground is. Amitabh ji, I will ask you the first question that, you know, the results are expected in a week. We're in the middle of the 2 phases. What is your first impression? Who do you think, which alliance has an edge? And what issues are maybe working on the ground for which alliance?
No, see, essentially the top issues are unemployment, migration. There is very high level of low level corruption, price rise and agricultural distress. These 5 issues, top issues, largely in any state, these issues are there. Now the question is between that, the election is between past of Nitish and the present or the future leader, you can say, amongst Tejashwi and Prashant Kishore, let's say, for example. So this election is very thanda in the sense that when you go to the ground, there is not much level of door-to-door campaigning happening by candidates. Also, people seem to have some sympathy for Nitish Kumar, and there is a feeling that this is last election and there should be a grand farewell or a send-off of sorts. So Nitish, who was on a weak wicket in 2020 primarily due to the damage inflicted by the LJP, this time since LJP is part of the NDA, Nitish looks strong. There is not much anger against Nitish per se. There is anti-incumbency against the government, but government includes chief minister, MLAs, ministers and the bureaucracy also. However, that anti-incumbency is not getting consolidated in favor of Mahagathbandhan. It is getting divided between Mahagathbandhan, Jansuraj and others, because others have also been a big chunk of 20% vote share in Bihar. So the Mahagathbandhan is not able to consolidate the anti-incumbency. They were not able to focus on the bread and butter issues and shifted to SIR, which had resonance, but resonance largely among their core vote bloc.
So you see, was that a blunder? Because I remember that major murder which happened near Gandhi Maidan of a Patna businessman, and you saw the Tejashwi Yadav, everybody speak against that murder. But soon you saw that law and order attack on Nitish government went into the background, and we saw completely shift to the SIR, which seems to be a non-issue right now as the election is peaking.
See, essentially the RJD suffers from 3 bottlenecks, structural bottlenecks. One is the expansion beyond MY. There's not much happening on that front. One can argue that the Malla community and a section of the Pan community, which is the IIP party, might vote in favor of the Mahagathbandhan, but again these two are largely 4 to 5% population, and there is also support in the NDA amongst these communities. The other is that they have not been able to deflect or neutralize the stigma of Jungle Raj. And as you mentioned, this was the golden opportunity for RJD to erase that memory, because the 18 to 29 population, which is 25% of the voting population, does not really relate to this Jungle Raj stuff. But somehow and at that point of time, actually there was a huge debate a Maha Jangal Raj versus Jangal Raj kind of debate, even in TV studios when those murders were happening. And just at that point of time also came this CAG report of 70,000 crores missing utilization certificate. But at that point came SIR and the entire campaign got diverted to SIR and vote chori.
So maybe it was Rahul Gandhi's idea to make SIR the big issue, not so much
so
of Tejashwi.
I would say Tejashwi's entire campaign or Mahagadbandhan's entire campaign became subservient to Rahul Gandhi's national campaign of SIR and vote chori, and that happened for around 1.5 to 2 months. When Tejashwi realized perhaps it was too late, he came with the Sarkari Yojana guarantee. I mean, every household having one government job. But I think that 1.5 to 2 months were missed by the opposition to create the anti-incumbency, generate anti-incumbency, target Nitish Kumar on issues as well as the economic backwardness. I mean, Bihar still, whatever said and done, ranks the lowest in HDI indicators and also the per capita income.
But when you say unemployment, my last question to you, then that means Tejashwi Yadav's jobs promise, maybe it's unrealistic, government job to every family still has some resonance on the ground, because unemployment is a huge issue in Bihar.
Yeah, so unemployment is a huge issue in Bihar, and Tejashwi Yadav has resonance, or his promise has resonance. I mean, one cannot dilute that fact. But what is happening is that this youth population is also getting divided between Jansuraj party and Mahagadbandhan, because Jansuraj has highest support amongst youth. Youth consumes everything on social media, and Jansuraj party has a good social digital media campaign. So what benefit should have actually accrued to Tejashwi Yadav is not accruing, because Prashant has made a dent into this youth vote bank.
So it is Prashant Kishore who may be hurting Tejashwi Yadav even more in this particular election. When we are back next week on Homework, we will have the Bihar results out and we will know if it is 25-30 phir Nitish, or is Tejashwi Yadav going to shock everybody and become the Chief Minister of Bihar. Thank you so much for joining us on Homework. This is your host Aman Sharma signing off.